I am the chair, and I do not expect a quorum today. So what we will be doing is we will be hearing items that are agendized here, and of course we will be able to do what a committee can always do, which is communicate the recommendation to the full city council and then have the full city council consider the items. So that being said, why don't we go ahead, Mr. Prieto, with item number 1. Let's continue that.
Certainly.
And we will continue that at the request of the motion's author. And let's go ahead and go to item number 2, please.
Certainly, item number 2 relates to DWP report relative to the Second Amendment to agreement with the Water Course Engineering. You have staff from the CAO and DWP.
Very good. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't make a few comments first to you, councilmen. Somewhat on topic, talking about water resources up in the Owens Valley and Mono Basin, but just want to take the time here and thank you for your service to the city and Water and Power, being chair of our Inyo County Standing Committee. I don't know if you'll miss that part of your job, but I know you won't miss the Owens Valley, and I know you and your family will continue to be up there, so hopefully we'll see each other. But your talents and your giftedness as a leader have served us well. Personally, it's been great to have you there up on the stand. You've got us through some tough waters. It's hardly we ever have any still waters with those meetings, but just your direction and your advice was very valuable. So we thank you for your service. And
I appreciate that, and sir, you are out of order. So let's go ahead and continue with the.
I'll catch you while I can. You know, that group dealt with a lot of Owens Valley issues. This is more with the Mono Basin and our diversions of water out of the creeks that would flow into Mono Lake. A number of years ago, in April 2010, after about 12 years of monitoring the effects of the decision of the State Board on our diversions in the Mono Basin, there was a synthesis report that provided some recommendations on how we would manage our streams that resulted in the department responding to that, what we called a feasibility letter. There were some differences in that, and that was all resolved in a settlement agreement in 2013. As a result of that settlement agreement, there was an agreement there would be further review of how the streams operated using a model called eStream that was developed by Watercourse Engineering. So this is an extension of that existing contract with Watercourse to continue to run model studies.
Very good. And CAO, you approve?
Yes, sir.
Very good, Mr. Roth. Thank you for that. We'll go ahead and communicate this to the full city council, urging them to approve the department's request for authority to execute amendment number 2 to the existing agreement with Watercourse Engineering for ongoing development of the eStream model. Mr. Prieto, let's go to item number, I'm sorry, there is a card on this. Dr. Tom Williams on item number 2.
Dr. Tom Williams, quite concerned about groundwater and inside remediation. So is the clock running? It's technology that's been around for a long time. Why isn't there a Los Angeles-based, LA-based technology group that could do this and be more locally focused? There's also a matter that we're quite concerned regarding the coordination between this particular project and recharge of the San Fernando Valley aquifers from stormwater and from treated sewage effluent. So we're the people downstream that will be affected by these most, all three. Remediation of the aquifer, how is it being correlated or coordinated with the recharge issues? So we'd like to have a lot more public access to the information and the development of this program, and they should sponsor a web page separate for this particular project.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. For those new arrivals to the committee, you'll notice here that I'm not, or the committee isn't rather, playing with the full deck. So we will be communicating all of the recommendations to the full city council. We won't be taking a vote on them. So that takes us to item number 3.
Number 3, Board of Public Works report relative to authority to apply for and accept grant funding from the state's water recycling funding program. You have staff
Very
from your
good, Mr. Prieto. Thank you. I've read through this. I think it's a fantastic idea that we go ahead and accept grant funding from the State Water Resources Control Board. Anything else that you'd like to add?
Well, as you said, it's beneficial, to the city,
It most certainly is. We'll go ahead and give that a favorable recommendation to the full city council, and that will be the communication. There are no speaker cards on that. That brings us to item number 4.
All right,
Okay,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Number 4, CAO Bureau of Sanitation report seeking authority to execute Second Amendment to a contract with Ballard Marine Construction. You have staff from CAO and Bureau of Sanitation.
Very good, staff. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Council.
Mr. Poon, is this a good deal?
This is a great deal.
Mr. DeFeta, what do you think about the term extensions? 2 years all the way through the 2018?
Great deal. We need it. So
There we go. You can't get a more resounding endorsement than that. We will go ahead and communicate to the full city council a favorable recommendation that this is a, quote, good deal and we need it.
yeah.
Mr., for the record, if you could add that into the minutes, Mr. Prieto. There are no speaker cards on that item. That brings us to item number 5.
Thank you very much.
Number 5, CAO and Bureau of Sanitation report seeking authority to execute a contract with the Rainbow Disposal Company for receipt of green material.
Very good, Mr. Prieto. You will notice that we are doing a lot of contract extensions and things that this committee probably should defer to the full board, but given the current constraints of the governance structure there, we will happily hear this item and the CEO's request for authority to execute a personal service contract with Rainbow for the receipt, processing, and reuse of the green material as specified. Did I miss anything?
No, you didn't.
Very good. Well, let's give that a favorable recommendation and move that to the full city council. There are no speaker cards on the item, so we will go ahead and that shall be the communication, Mr. Prieto. Item number 7. I'm sorry, number 6.
Number 6,
Yeah, let's do 6.
CAO report relative to Proposition O, reprogramming to continue optimization projects.
Very good. Mr. Mendoza, what can you tell us about this funding in the amount of $800,000 from Prop O?
I think if we go in line with the other reports, I think this is something that sanitation needs.
Okay.
It's something, in the last E&E from March, we approved some funding for optimization, and this was another piece of that, which we just needed to work with our bond counsel to confirm that we could use.
So this is reprogramming, right?
Correct.
Okay, $800,000, and the reprogramming doesn't affect the overall Proposition O program.
Correct.
Okay, very good. Well, let's go ahead and make the recommendation to communicate to the full city council to approve funding in the amount of $800,000 from the Prop O program for optimization of 10 projects as specified in the report.
Sure.
Very good. That takes us to item number 7.
Thank you.
Number 7, Board of Public Works report seeking authority to accept $400,000 in grant funding from the Mobile Source Air Pollution Reduction Review Committee.
Mr. Tran,
Yes, sir.
nothing wrong with taking grant funding from, who's given it to us?
This is from the Mobile Source Air Pollution Reduction Review Committee, also known as MSRC. It's a subsidiary of AQMD.
AQMD, let's take their money. So let's go ahead and make the recommendation to approve the Board of Public Works request for authority to accept $400,000 in grant funding from the Mobile Source Air Pollution Reduction Review Committee's program, Clean Fuel Program. And let's communicate that to the full city council with a heartfelt yes. Okay, very good. There are no speaker cards on that item as well. Is there anything else that we should communicate to the full city council? Public comment? That will stay here. We'll go ahead and ask Mr. Williams to come up for public comment.
I did have a public comment card on item 2.
And you spoke on it, sir. You spoke on it.
No, I spoke on 1.
No, you spoke on 2. Number 1, we continued,
Oh.
and then you spoke on number
Okay.
2, and you were off topic, but I didn't
Yeah.
call you on it.
Yeah, I didn't hear that. I have new hearing aids, but,
No problem.
okay, for public comment, since it's already passed almost. Okay, Porter Ranch. Save Porter Ranch people are quite concerned regarding the solar panels and renewable energy for the Alicio Canyon area. I'd highly recommend against any solar or renewables on Alicio Canyon because there are 10,000 houses in Porter Ranch which could take solar voltaic panels and solar thermal panels. And I guarantee 10,000 times 500 square feet each would be a significant contribution to the renewables, both for gas and for electricity in the DWP, Southern California Gas Company area in San Fernando Valley. It was proposed to the ARB, but they prefer to treat CalSHIT, but that's a different issue. Here you have an opportunity to help the people in Porter Ranch directly. That is, have all of the renewable resources that have been speculated for Alicio Canyon on existing roofs in the grid so that you don't have to have more transformer stations outside. And there's about 1% of those 10,000 right now have some form of solar panels on them. So put it in Porter Ranch, not in Alicio Canyon.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Colleagues, well, sorry, there are no colleagues. Staff, that brings us to the conclusion of the meeting. There are no other additional items on the desk. We're adjourned.